Yes, you can even um, ask a question in the chat. Okay, if you have any questions. So, as per request, I would be revising two modules. One is presentation authoring, and the other is document production. Okay, so because this is what we were supposed to do today, obviously in our physical class, but somehow we went online. So I'll share this with you as well. Make sure you don't take these two modules very easy as well. They obviously could be complicated, and at times when you don't prepare well for easy modules, they might take more time. You'll be able to do it, but you actually have to save a lot of time. So, right, you are aware of this module. Let's get into the details. Well, obviously, you can everyone hear me
Yes,
clearly?
sir.
Okay, right. Thank you for that. Okay, and you can see my screen, I believe. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. So, yeah, let me continue. So, you do know that we have different layouts. Now, obviously, what we have to learn over here is the most important thing is related to the slide master. Now, what's a slide master? Why do we have to work with slide master? Well, first of all, before I discuss this, you should know that there's something known as a corporate house style. Now, what are corporate house styles? Maybe we have discussed this before. Corporate house style is just like you work with CSS files. So you can actually design the background layout of a presentation. So yeah, you have designers who would actually design your memos, your presentations, the websites. Okay. If you look at any corporate like Emirates, okay, every corporate, they have a particular layout. These layouts you will find in headings, in subheadings, okay. Um, Paragraph would be a different font, okay. Their logo will be of different color. So distinctively, when you look at these corporates, you can identify who they are. They belong to what. So yes, this is the reason why we actually make the slide master so that we can design the back style of the presentation. Now, obviously, we will first of all learn how to do that. So in view, you have to go to the slide master. Okay. Over here, you will see is I have one this slide, which is larger one, and I have the smaller one. Now, let me emphasize on this. This is known as the title slide. This is known as the title and the content. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll simply come to your this slide, and let me see add a shape over here. Fine, I added a shape. Let me add a different shape to the other slide. For example, let me add this shape to the other slide. Fine, perfectly well, works well. Let me close the slide master and let me go back. So you'll see is in the title slide, that circle was added. In the title and content, the triangle was added. Now, what does this mean? This actually means is that these layouts are actually similar to these. The point is, this is just the back end of all that. So if I make a change in this, obviously the title and the content will be added to the back end. So if someone has to make 20 slides, I can actually design the uh, back end style for that particular person, where I would have different headings, different subheadings, maybe different background. Okay, a footer would have some different details, and all this will be um, the same for all the slides. That's something very important. Okay, to obviously have a professional look for the entire presentation. That's the reason why we do it. So you got this. That obviously every layout has its back over here in the slide master. But then the point is, why do we have the very first one? Well, we call this the public declaration. We call this the private declaration. The reason why we call this the public declaration is that if I come to this bigger slide, okay, in the slide master, and let's say if I add is something like this, okay, let me add this, okay, you would see is this would be appearing in all the layouts. Now, if I close this and if I come here, You will see it's appearing in all the layouts. So this technically means is that when we work with the very first one, it that those elements will actually appear in all the different layouts. It's not specific to a particular layout. This is specific to title and content. This is specific to the section head. So they're all actually specific to particular layouts, but this is not. Okay. So done with this. Let's come to actually now the main point. That in our slide master, what do we have? Well, the first thing we have in slide master is the placeholder. Now you have to understand that there's a difference between a placeholder and a text box. Now, what is a placeholder? Okay, I'll tell you. If I come here, if I click here, you see this disappears, and I can type anything I want. I click here, disappears. I can type whatever I want to. If I add a new slide, I can actually type whatever I want to. So actually, they're placeholders. They're a place where I actually can type a text afterwards. That's why we call it a placeholder, right? So that's what a placeholder is. But then I have a placeholder for the title here. Okay, so let me just place it over here. Fine. I have a placeholder for my subheading, but how do I insert a placeholder for my bullet points? Okay, how? Where am I right now? In my slide master. What do I have here? Insert placeholder. What do I use? The second option. The second option is that from where I can add this bullet points. Okay, you can add your bullet points or even your text through it. I'll show you how. Select this and drag it over here. I have different bullet point list. First level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level. These are the different levels I have, right? So let me somehow make some changes to it, and I'll tell you why am I making these changes. There you go. Let me make some changes. This as well. Let me change the font type. Let me change the font color. Then I have this. So let's make this this, and you'll know why am I doing this afterwards. Okay. And the last one. Let's just make it I don't know, like red. I already have red. I'll make this color. So I have different levels. Now, what are levels actually? Levels is something like if you have electronics, in electronics you have computers, in computers you have input devices, in input devices you have manual input devices, so on and so on. They're levels. Okay. Such a kind of level question has not come yet, but this is where it becomes more important. Those points that have not been targeted, they have more chances of coming, and we should be more prepared for those. Okay. So what I'll do now is I'll simply close this. Now the placeholders are not reflected back. I will not see the bullet points over here. But now if I add a new slide, you will see this appearing. Yes or no? Now you'll see I'll just type randomly something. Okay. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah. Don't start pronouncing it. Okay. Here we go. So if I indent this once, I indent this twice, I indent this thrice, and so on and so. So you see, I'm indenting them. So this is what I get actually. So this is where we have different levels. So once you come back to slide master, you can indent and obviously it will be reflected back to whatever you did over here. I hope till now everything is clear. Any question? Yes, everyone, all of you.
No, sir, it's clear.
Very well done. I said you can ask me in the chat. If your mic is not clear, you can ask over here as well. Good. Okay, I'll share the video. If you have any questions, obviously you can ask me later. Okay, till now this much done. What do we have more? Yes, we do have more. Obviously, at the bottom you can see is that. Okay, one more thing, beta. Let me admit that student first of all. Yeah. So next time when all of you will join in the classes, you need to make sure one thing that all of you have your full name because we're taking attendance, and it would be a lot better that I have your full name with me. Okay. So somehow today I'll just try to make what ZYM is. I don't know what ZY. Who is ZYM? I mean, much better. Zemal Zishan.
So sorry, sir.
Exactly. And the rest of you, if you can you if type your full name if you can, again it will be better for me. Okay, and the class section as well. Okay, because next week we also have the online classes. They will continue. So if I have your name and your class section, will be better for me to obviously know who is who, so on and so. Right? Yeah, good. Everyone is doing that. I can wait for 2 minutes. No problem. That's better. Very good. Sakina, you'd have better. Malika Junaid, Ariba Umar. Okay, so I'll continue. Okay, right. So we have some information. I was saying was we have some information down here. I have this to type my date, footer, and I have this over here for my slide number. Now, I was referring to text box. What is text box? Well, if I come into insert and if I insert from here is this text box. And if I place this text box over here, and let's say if I write over here is, let's say, I'm not marketing my website. Yeah, technically I am. No problem. Okay, here we go. So I have this as a text box over, right? So here we go. Now, if I close this, now every time when I add a slide, you see this is appearing here, and I just can't make changes to it. It's not editable. This is editable because that's a placeholder. That's a text box. So what do we mean? A text box basically is a static text that we can add anywhere at the back end. A placeholder is not a static text. Get my point? That is the difference between both of these. This is static, but that is not static. So let's say if you want a name to appear in all the slides, you can place this over here, okay, or at the top. And obviously, if I place this thing, this text box, somehow let me say, if I copy this, and if I place this here, what will happen is if I go back, I add whatever different sort of layout I add. You see, all of them have this in my heading. So this proves the fact that the first slide that we have is what is your public declaration slide that obviously uh, reflects all the layouts. Fine. Then we have something over here. So we talked about this, right? So I let's say I did enter over here. The slide master is ICT, okay, and that's my slide number. It's not visible, so I'll make it bold, increase the font size, and I'll make it black. So it's much more visible. You can do that. So I'll just close this. Do I get the slide numbers? No, I don't. Why? Okay. Why? Because you have to come into insert, and you'll see in the text slide number. Click on slide number and make sure that you enable all of these. Once you enable all of these, you will see those details are appearing everywhere. Yes or no? Okay. The number is actually I did increase the size of the number in one of the layout, not all the layouts. But anyway, it's appearing. You can see down here. You can see down here, it's appearing, right? Okay, they're appearing in all the slides. So done with this point. Then we have is something known, once we come back, we have something known as, let me just add this again. So if I add some random text into this, well, obviously you know all this, I'm just revising it. I'm pretty sure you know this. So if I come into animation, I can actually make the text fly in this way. Maybe this is the one I want, first one I want. Maybe it's the second one I want. Maybe this is the third one I want. I don't know. Depends on the order. And the good thing about this is you can see I have the numbering as well. Now, if the examiner gives you this point exam, what do you take a screenshot of this only? No. You also have to click on the animation pane and then you will take a screenshot of this entire thing, a screenshot of all this, showing the examiner that actually you have applied is an animation to the following text, right? So you take a screenshot if this point comes in. Then you have transition. Transition obviously means that when you go from one slide to the other slide. So you see this star appearing. The star actually means that I have applied some sort of animation on the slide. Once I add a transition, let's say this one, to this slide, Okay. And if I say apply to all, you will see stars appearing in all the slides. So if I click on apply to all, you see stars appearing in all the slides. This is an old point that used to come but can come again. So if you have to give a screenshot, instead of this, follow my cursor. Do you see what this is? If it's clear, you can see it says slide sorter. If you can follow my mouse. If you could not follow my mouse, follow it again. I'm coming here. It says slide sorter view. So if I click on slide sorter view, I have this view. Now, actually, I can take a screenshot of this and give it to the examiner that I have stars appearing, right? Then I have notes pages. What are notes pages? You see over here, we call these notes pages. So let me come here and I can do something here. Hold on. Let me drag it up. Now, I don't have some text, so I'll just type some random text, RAND, and I'll come here as well. I'll just type is equals to rand. Rand actually does is generates a random text. So I have some random text over here. Now, why do we have some this random text? Well, if we come into print, I can print all the slides one by one. I could print is the notes pages, which means the slide with the notes, you see, slide with the notes. Why do we have the notes? Well, I'm the presenter. I want to have some more details with me. I don't want to give the audience. So I'll want the notes to be with me. Then I have is the summary of the presentation, which is the outline. Outline is the summary of the entire presentation. All the text you have will be here. Then I have what? Do you want to print one slide? Do you want to print two slides? And most interesting, three slides. What is this? Three slides actually is also known as audience notes. What are audience notes? Well, you will be giving some printout to the audience, yes or no? And you would want the audience to note down something. So you'll give them this printout. We call this audience notes, right? And then obviously the rest of them are quite the same. So these are the printouts that you would take, right? Okay. Um, One more thing important. In fact, since we are discussing this, what I would do is I would solve one question with you as well. You know what? We'll do MS Word in the next class. One module is enough. What do you say? Because I'm discussing in
Yes,
detail.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. It's good.
that's better. Let me solve this with you. Right? So here we go. Um, you're going to create a short presentation. All slides must have consistent layout and formatting. Create a presentation of 6 slides using this file. The reason why I'm doing this one is because it has an RTF file to be opened in PowerPoint. So technically, I somehow I had this over here. I hope it's the same question. It's vision.rtf. Do I have? Yeah, I have vision. So I'll just copy the path where I have vision.rtf. Now, that's another point that was left to discuss. I open up this. I want vision.rtf to open in PowerPoint. How do I directly open? Well, you go to File, you go to Open, obviously, and I give the path where the file is. Do I see the file? No, I don't. Why? Because I need to do is all files. Once I do all files, I can see the vision file, and I open. Okay. Somewhere I think it's saying you have opened the file elsewhere as well. Have I? Haven't. Okay, no, I haven't. Okay, let me see again. I didn't read the error. I should have read the error. Browse, paste, vision.rtf. It says, what says? Can't open file. Okay, I get the point. The reason is somehow the file type was different. Could we came across error. All you do is just open this file. If this happens, okay, open this file. Oh, my battery is weak. Just 1 second. Plug it in. So I've opened this up. Now all I'll do is I'll simply save this file. In the same place, I'll just save it as RTF. Okay, I'll just like write is 2. Okay, saved it. At times the formats are different, so it doesn't make a difference much. Um, so now what I'll do is I'll open the same file. Good, I came across this error because otherwise you will be confused. So I have this file and I wrote, did I save it in the same place? One second. I wrote 2 anyway. Let me do it again. There you go. Enable editing. File. Save as. Browse. I just wrote 2 in front of it. Oh, sorry, I saved in the wrong place. That's why. Yeah. So I'll save it. I hope it's not extracted actually. That's what it's saying. Yeah, replace. I've not installed WinRAR, so that's why it's giving me that issue. So extract all still it's not extract. One second. What is the issue? Why is it still saying extract all? Okay, let me browse this on my desktop, website, web, select folder, extract, stop, web. Fine. Now I can give this path. So it's better that you make a path. Okay, now we'll simply go into browse. It's actually here. And oh, I'm supposed to save it first. Let me just add 333. Just save it. See, no, the error doesn't come because obviously now I can just open it. Browse. You will get extracted files. No worries. Now, if I open this up, obviously directly, you can see um, it opens up all of them in a different slide. Obviously, that's the way it does. So you have to do file open. Okay. Then what they're saying is the question says is okay. Make sure names and number appear on in the same position as all the slides. So, well, if you want that to happen, I will obviously do is I'll come to view, I'll come to slide master. I will be coming to my first slide and I will be entering over here is the name, center number, okay, and the candidate number. Fine. Next, format the first slide so that the title layout is applied with no bullets. The title and subtitle are center line. So what we have to do is we come over to the slide master, we come back, and he's saying the first one should be, click on the first one, layout should be title slide. Okay, that's what they're saying. Okay, title slide layout. Change the layout of the slide with the title, our top performing students to the title and with 2 placeholders side by side. Okay, so with the layout performing, where is performing? So our top performing students. Okay, so this has to be applied with what? To a title with 2 placeholders side by side. So layout with the title and two placeholders side by side. You see this? Yes or no? This is what we have. Okay, done. Next we have is, okay, use this CSV file to create a vertical bar chart to compare the average marks for each subject, except English for boys and girls. Display the subject names in full. So we actually have to do is we have to use over here is marks comparison file. And over here we have to make a graph, okay, which would be like what they're saying is to compare the average marks for each subject except for English for boys and girls, except for English for boys and girls. Okay. The subject names, fine, we have that. A chart title, fine. Only the data values of each bar visible, a legend to identify the person. So what we'll do is we will be selecting these, okay, but we don't want English. So I can do is I can select, do we want for boys and girls? For boys and girls. Uh, and we don't need the overall. So what we do is we'll select this, press control. Okay, so press control, I can select this. Wait, sorry, I was not pressing control. So press control, keep on pressing control. This is what I have. Okay, so all I have to do is now we have to make is graph, this graph. Okay, and do what? The subject names in full in the category axis. I have that. Okay, what else? Um, the chart title, this, I don't have that. So copy, that's the chart title. Only data values above each chart. So you click on this and you will have data values over here. There's an option, data values. Yes, I have data values above the chart. You have the option available here. Is everyone with me? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad. I'm glad. A legend to identify boys and girls. So we don't have, yeah, we have legend. So over here, we actually have 90 for girls. So look, how do we do that? Click on this and click on select data. And I want the series one to be girls. So edit and click on girls. Okay. Click on series two and click on boys. And okay. Is that clear? Yes or no? Okay. Then we have to obviously copy this. And the question says is, okay, where do we have to place it? Using this, no, they haven't mentioned. Saying on the slide with the title, our top performing student, place the chart. Okay, actually over here. Place the content of this left. So we have to place it over here. So somehow I can just I can delete this. I don't need this. And I can simply increase the size of this a bit. Not that much. Place this here. What else? What they're saying? Place the content of file prices CSV in the left placeholder. Okay. Prices. Did I open prices? No, I did not. This is prices. So you copy this and you place it over here. I don't need this. So somehow just like you can place on top of it, but so how do I place it? This way, look at the way. I think this was better. Okay. So look at the paste options. Which one do you want? So that's too big. This is what I want. Let's again look at the format. Not this one. Question. Yeah. It's something like this. Okay. It's quite simple layout. So is our like that? Uh, yes, it is somehow like they did not specify the font and all that. It's fine. Okay. Right. So done with this. Print the slide with the title "Our Performing Students" as full slide. print all the slides with 2 by 2. So you just have to print, like they're saying is this one. So when you come to print, you will make sure that you print this full, and the rest of them you will print is 2 by 2. You get the point? Yes or no? Right? So this was one of the paper. This is the way it comes. Okay. Somehow randomly I just did the March paper with you. Okay, I'll share more papers with you as well. Is that clear, beta? So PowerPoint is done. Next class we can do Word or maybe some advanced points in Word as well. Okay, is that right?
Yes,
Please
sir.
don't
Yes.
leave because I have to take your attendance. Very very important. So don't leave. One second.
Okay, sir.
Yes. I'm pretty sure Word is not a problem for many, but Samanika, don't take it very lightly. Make sure you have perfection this module. I hope everyone is doing their papers, right? The one we have to complete. And then anyone has any question, beta? Any question? If you're doing the papers, if you have any question, आप group में ही पूछ लिया करो, ठीक है? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the rest of the time, beta, but that you're left with, please you attempt this. Capital मैं paper share कर देता हूँ. Make sure you attempt it and practice it like the way we do in the lab. So the remaining time you have to practice. Okay?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sharing this with you. Okay, beta. Okay. Okay. Allah Hafiz.
I love it, sir.